Hello family, welcome back to Servant Warriors YouTube channel. So everyone that has been following this channel from the beginning knows that I was anointed through the tribe of Dan as a seer and through Asher to minister and to teach. I was given an anointing for numbers, and one of those numbers was given to me a long time ago was 605 for restoration or restitution, and the number 321. Okay, so I'm going to connect some dots through some scriptures, show you what the Lord has shown me. We know He has walked all of us, firstly, by bidding everyone from the bidden parable, calling in His bride, and then He started teaching us who the bride is. Okay, Acts 3:2-1. Acts of emissaries of Yeshua. He has to remain in heaven until the time comes for restoring everything. Okay, restoring everything, that is key. As God so long ago, when He spoke through the holy prophets, for Moshe himself said, Adonai will raise up for you a prophet like me from among your brothers. You are to listen to everything he tells you. Everyone who fails to listen to that prophet will be removed from the people and destroyed. Indeed, all the prophets announced these days, starting with Shemuel and continuing through all who followed. You are the sons of the prophets, and you are included in the covenant which God made with our fathers when He said to Abraham, by your seed will all the families of the earth be blessed. So it is to you that Yahweh has sent His servant whom He has raised up, so that He might bless you by turning each one of you from your evil ways. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over to Daniel 9:24 through 9:27. 9:27, the number the Lord was given many of us a long time when He's trying to show us the covenant. The Lord Yeshua HaMashiach. 70 weeks have been decreed for your people and for your holy city, for putting an end to the transgression, for making an end of sin, for forgiving iniquity, for bringing in everlasting justice, for setting the seal on vision and prophet, and for anointing the especially holy place. Know therefore and discern that 7 weeks of years will elapse between the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until an anointed prince comes. It will remain built for 62 weeks of years with open spaces and moats, but these will be troubled times. Jacob's trouble family, right? Okay, the restoration of all things to rebuild Jerusalem, the covenant with many. Okay, then after 62 weeks, Mashiach will be cut off and have nothing. The people of a prince yet to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, but his end will come with a flood, and desolations are decreed until the war is over. And remember, Yeshua gave us the scribe the flood, and He's been showing me the flood. He will make a strong covenant with leaders for 1 week of years. Okay, He will make a strong covenant with leaders for 1 week of years. So the 7 years of Jacob's trouble that began in 2023 is the covenant with many. This is not anti-Messiah. This is Yeshua's covenant between Himself and His bride. For half of the week he will put a stop to the sacrifice and the grain offering on the wing of detestable things. The desolator will come and continue until the already decreed destruction is poured out on the desolator. I forgot to mention, remember, the key is 3:2:1, right? Acts 3:2:1. Okay, now we're going to Hebrews 8. But now the work of Yeshua has been given to do is far superior to theirs, just as the covenant he mediates is better. For this covenant has been given as Torah on the basis of better promises. So the covenant is keeping the Torah. Okay, entering into the Shabbat, entering into the rest. He gave us the word, enter into his rest, in the scribes through Casey. Okay, those who covenant are bride, and we'll go into more about that. For this covenant has been given us Torah on the basis of better promises. Indeed, if the first covenant had not given ground for fault finding, there would have been no need for a second one. For Yahweh does find fault with the people when he says, see, the days are coming, says Adonai, when I will establish over the house of Israel and over the house of Yehudah a new covenant. It will not be like the covenant which I made with their fathers on the day when I took them by their hand and led them forth out of the land of Egypt, because they, for their part, did not remain faithful to my covenant. So I, for my part, stopped concerning myself with them, says Adonai. Okay, so it's Israel and Yehudah. The covenant is made with to be the bride of Mashiach. Now I'm jumping over to Revelation of Yeshua to Yachanan, which is John the Revelator, the Philadelphia church. Okay, so we know that in the Philadelphia church, Yeshua has the key of David. You've been following the channel. You know, he sanctifies you by breaking the curse, using the key of David, breaking the curse off the left eye. Okay. Now we're going to go into how the Philadelphia church is also the 144,000 and the two witnesses. I'm coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take away your crown. Okay, so they're crowned. Firstly, I will make him who wins the victory a pillar. They become a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will never leave it. Also, I will write on him the name of my God, and the name of my God's city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from my God, and my own new name. So there's 3 seals they receive. Those who have ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying to the Messianic communities. 3 seals, 3 names, Philadelphia. Okay, we're going to jump over to Revelation 14. Then I looked, and there was the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him were 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name written on their foreheads. They were singing, I'm jumping down to 3. They were singing a new song before the throne and before the 4 living beings and the elders, and no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who had been ransomed from the world. The song of Moses, because they're led into the covenant out of Egypt, out of Babylon, into the Torah. The Philadelphia church, the bride of Christ, or bride of Mashiach. These are the ones who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins, spiritual virgins. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They have been ransomed from among humanity as first fruits. So these are the first fruits. Okay? These are the called, the chosen, and the faithful into the covenant. Yehuda, Israel. Okay, this is, I didn't write it down, but this is the two witnesses in Revelation. Also, I will give power to my two witnesses. Okay, the two witnesses. The two olive trees is Judah and Israel. Yeshua taught us this. I'm just connecting all the scriptures. Also, I'll give power to my two witnesses, which are the 144,000, which are Judah and Israel, the two olive trees, and they will be prophesying. They have authority to turn water into blood and to strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they want. Okay, so this is like the plagues of Egypt for the greater Exodus. See, the book of Revelation is entirely about gathering the 12 tribes back into the Holy Land to be servants to the Most High and the King of Kings and Lords of Lords, Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay, so we're going to go to Revelation 4. In the center around the throne were 4 living beings covered with eyes in front and behind. The first living being was like a lion. The second living being was like an ox. The third living being had a face that looked human. And the fourth living being was like a flying eagle. Each of the 4 living beings had 6 wings and was covered with eyes inside and out. And day and night they never stopped saying, Holy, holy, holy. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh is Adonai, Yahweh of heaven's armies, the one who was, who is, and who is coming. Okay, so the lion, the ox, the human, and the eagle. Okay, this also is the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, Numbers 2. This is about the camp and how they are stationed, okay? Those camping on the east side toward the sunrise are to be under the banner of the camp of Yehuda. They are to camp according to companies by tribe and leader. They are as follows. This group is to set out first. Those camping on the south side are to be under the banner of the camp Reuben. Excuse me. East side is Judah, Yehuda. South side is Reuben. Okay. And we're going to jump down to 18 to 24. The west side is Ephraim. Okay. The north side is the banner of the camp of Dan. Back to Revelation 4. The lion, the ox, the man, the eagle. The lion is Judah. The ox is Ephraim. The human is Reuben. The eagle is the tribe of Dan. Okay, this is the encampment from Numbers 2 and 3. North side, Dan. East side, Judah. Reuben. South, west, Ephraim. Okay, Ephraim over here in the center. All these blue ones, the north, the south, the east, the west, those are the representations of the entire 12 tribes. Okay, the 4 living creatures singing holy, holy, holy. So, in case anybody's wondering, yes, Ephraim and Dan, if you're new, are part of the 144,000. 144,000 is a symbolic number. There will be more than that. Clearly, because 2 of the tribes wasn't listed for the sake of the numbers, but they are listed. I just proved that out. I'm going to jump over to Ezekiel 37. Finally bring them together into a single stick. So this is the two sticks becoming one. Okay? And we know the 144,000, the bride of Mashiach, becomes one in him as he is. Finally bring them together into a single stick so that they become one in your hand. When your people ask you what all this means, tell them that Adonai Elohim says this: I will take the stick of Yosef, which is in the hand of Ephraim, together with the tribes of Israel who are joined with him, and put them together with the stick of Yehudah, and make them a single stick, so that they become one in my hand. The 10 and 2 become one. The 10 northern tribes and the 2 southern tribes. The sticks on which you write are to be in your hand as they watch. Then say, your hand as they watch. Then say to them that Adonai Elohim says, I will take the people of Israel from among the nations. From among the nations, because they're scattered from the four corners of the earth. They are not a piece of dirt. They are a people where they have gone, and gather them from every side, and bring them back to their own land. Okay, the restoration, going back to the promised land. I'll make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel. And one king will be king over for all of them. They will no longer be two nations, and they will never again be divided into two kingdoms. Okay, so, I was showing you the restoration of all things in Acts 3:2-1. Okay, and I was sharing with you again to remind you of the timeline we're in. Mashiach told us in the scribes, Jacob's trouble began 2023. 2030 to 31 is the 123rd Jubilee. 3:2:1, the key is 3:2:1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he's been bringing it to my attention quite a bit, and I had shared that. So the Jubilee begins in the fall 2030 with the trumpet blast of the shofar and comes to its conclusion in the fall of 2031. So Rosh Hashanah begins the new year for the count. So we're coming up on 2024, actually. Yeah, sorry, I had a brain meltdown. We know that the Gregorian calendar started and we had Passover and Abib, but there's two calendars going simultaneously. There's multiple timelines running simultaneously with Judah and Israel being gathered. The ingathering happening right now for the greater Exodus, okay? And we're getting ready to come up on trumpets now, Yom Teruah. And these were courtesy of Rock Island Books, because we've shared these on the channel before. Yeshua confirmed this timeline through Rock Island Books to give them the credit for their work. The year 2023 as a start date for the 70th week of Daniel, or 2030 as the end date. So we know because of the Rosh Hashanah calendar, it goes into 2031. 2030, 2031 is the Jubilee. The key is 3:2:1. This is another picture of the timeline for the 6,000 years coming to an end. And, okay, so the point is the Jubilee, right? You can screenshot these, feel free, if you lost them along the way. I'm going to go over now to some scripture. Okay, Leviticus 25:10. And you are to consecrate the 50th year, proclaiming freedom throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It will be a Yovel, which is Jubilee, for you. You will return everyone to the land he owns, and everyone is to return to his family. That 50th year will be a Yovel for you. In that year you are to not sow, harvest what grows by itself, or gather the grapes of untended vines. Because it is a Yovel, it will be holy for you. Whatever the fields produce will be food for all of you. In this year of Yovel, every one of you is to return to the land he owns, the promised land, family. The Jubilee. The key is 321, 123, the 123rd Jubilee. So all this time, this was hiding in plain sight. Genesis 37:28. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph, out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. 20 pieces of silver. Joseph. Yeshua came as a suffering servant, as Ben Yosef. Okay, Ben meaning son. Okay, he's coming back as the conquering king, Ben David. Okay, so Matthew 27:3. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders. So Yeshua was sold for the 30 pieces. Yosef was sold for 20. 20-30. Family. 20-30. Okay, and look at Matthew 2:27-9. Which is by right to left, because Hebrew, remember, is read right to left. We always look at things frontwards and backwards for more applications. 9:27, Daniel 9:27, the covenant with many during the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, the 30 pieces of silver. So 20-30's been right in the scriptures the entire time, right in plain sight. So I wanted to draw that to your attention. Okay, so the promised land, New Jerusalem, the 12 tribes, the north and the south, the 10 and the 2 become one, and become one in the bridegroom, the beloved. Okay, I also want to go to Ezekiel 48, which is the 12 gates for the 12 tribes in New Jerusalem. The following is the list of tribes. This is Dan's territory from the north end. And I was showing you the north, the south, the east, and the west, right? And Dan in the book of Revelation and Ephraim. Okay, so they have a gate, Ephraim and Dan in New Jerusalem for the 144,000 that are, that wasn't listed. They were there all the time. You just have to look for it. Let's see, through Helton to entrance of Hamat, Hazar, Anan at the border of Damasek, northward next to Hamat, and they will have their sides east and west. Asher's territory will run alongside the territory of Dan from east to west. Naphtali's territory will run alongside the territory of Asher from east to west. Manasseh's territory will run alongside the territory of Naphtali from east to west. Ephraim's territory will run alongside the territory of Manasseh from east to west. Reuben's territory will run alongside the territory of Ephraim from east to west. Yehuda's territory will run alongside the territory of Reuben from east to west. Alongside the territory of Yehuda from east to west will be the offering. You are to set aside 25,000 cubits wide, 8 miles, and in length equal to distance between the east and the west boundaries of one of the portions with the sanctuary inside it. The offering you are to set aside for Adonai is to be 8 miles long and 3 wide. This holy offering will be for the Kohanim. It will be 8 miles in length along its north and south sides, and 3 in width along its west and east sides. Okay, I'm not going to read it all, but you can go and read it for yourselves. Just connecting all the scriptures for you for the study, family. Okay, so I just wanted to remind you how this just was placed, bam, right in front of me as I was scrolling on TikTok. The key is 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. The 123rd Jubilee. And we know the key is 41 from Genesis 41 for the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine. We entered into the famine in 2023. And it's interesting that 11:11 was there also, which can be for murmuring, which we don't want to do, but also for the 11:11 war and everything heating up in the Middle East with what's going on. It looks like the entire world is already turning against the Holy Land now as we speak for Ezekiel 38 to play out. And we know that the 4-3-2-1 before the fire with the New York event with the Poseidon missiles coming very soon. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that. This was about the study for the covenant for the bridegroom and the 144,000, the 2 witnesses who are, Judah and Israel. This is all about the restoration, knowing the end from the beginning, the restoration of all things for New Jerusalem to enter into covenant with Mashiach through the Torah and the mikvah and the declarations that he gave everyone to do. So I hope this edified you, family, and it just showed you the connection to the numbers and the scriptures, how the puzzle pieces all just fit together to as a testimony to the timeline and who it's for. So that's all I have for you for now. God bless you. Talk soon.